The collapse of the American economy is at the door. America's losses from the fires discuss the devastating impact of wildfires in California, particularly in Los Angeles, and their broader implications for the United States economy. The losses from these fires are staggering, ranging from human casualties to material damages estimated in the billions of dollars. The White House is engulfed in its own issues as Trump counts down his hours in office, with experts suggesting that his presidency may be over before it even begins. The fires continue to rage, particularly affecting Los Angeles, often referred to as the capital of finance and business, which has transformed into a hellish landscape. Wealthy individuals, despite their substantial assets, are now living on the streets in makeshift shelters and tents. The estimated initial losses could reach around $200 billion, marking this as one of the most expensive environmental disasters in United States history. Experts question how President Trump will manage to gather such vast sums for rebuilding efforts and compensating those affected. As the fires persist, Los Angeles has become unrecognizable, resembling a city devastated by a nuclear bomb, with extensive destruction to trees, streets, homes, and wildlife. Reports indicate that at least 24 people have died since the fires began. The mayor of Los Angeles has urged officials to visit the city to witness the destruction firsthand and formulate a recovery plan. Firefighters are exhausted and injured from their relentless efforts to control the flames, but unfortunately, they have been unable to do so effectively. Trump's message to Biden reflects a sense of blame for leaving behind such a catastrophic situation. He questions where the administration is amidst these disasters and suggests that Biden may have taken an extended leave from responsibilities. Trump highlights that water supplies are running dry and asks Biden where the water has gone. Social media activists have responded that funds meant for domestic needs were redirected to Ukraine. Despite these challenges, analysts believe Trump may leverage his economic acumen to raise funds through taxes on businesses rather than citizens. This could help finance infrastructure projects necessary for recovery. However, there are significant concerns about America's debt levels and reliance on external financing. As America faces this unprecedented crisis, questions loom over Trump's ability to stabilize his presidency while addressing these urgent issues. The public remains divided on his leadership effectiveness during such turbulent times. Now it's the turn of the special section to answer viewers' questions. And the most important of these questions were, how will Trump deal with the economic crisis caused by the fires? What plans can Trump follow to rebuild the affected cities? How will the US economy be affected in the long term by these fires? What is the expected economic cost of rebuilding damaged homes and businesses? How will the US stock market be affected by these fires? What caused the fires in the first place? Was it human error, sabotage, or divine punishment for what is happening in Gaza? First, how will Trump deal with the economic crisis caused by the fires? US President-elect Donald Trump will face major challenges in dealing with the economic crisis caused by the wildfires in Los Angeles. Here are some possible strategies he may adopt. 1. Blaming political opponents. Trump may continue to blame Democrats, including President Joe Biden and California Governor Gavin Newsom, accusing them of incompetence in managing the crisis. In his social media posts, he has suggested that these fires are the result of government negligence, reflecting his political strategy of strengthening his position by blaming others. 2. Call for increased federal support. Trump will likely seek significant financial support from the federal government to help affected states. This could include allocating funds for reconstruction and compensation for those affected, which will require coordination with Congress to obtain the necessary approvals. 3. Focus on infrastructure. Trump may promote new infrastructure projects as a means of stimulating the economy. These projects could include improving water and electricity systems to avoid future disasters in addition to rebuilding affected areas. 4. Imposing taxes on corporations. Trump may resort to imposing additional taxes on large corporations, especially those that make huge profits, to help fund relief and reconstruction efforts. This may be part of his strategy to make businessmen bear some of the responsibility. 5. Outreach to the local community. Trump may seek to increase outreach to affected communities by visiting the affected areas and emphasizing his commitment to rebuilding and supporting victims. This could help improve his public image and boost his support among voters. 6. Addressing environmental issues. Trump may use this crisis to talk about the importance of better managing natural resources, such as water and forests, which could help reduce future risks of natural disasters. Overall, Trump will need to take strategic steps to deal with this crisis effectively, focusing on strengthening the economy and achieving political stability amid the difficult circumstances facing the country. Answer to the second question. What are the plans that Trump could follow to rebuild the affected cities? Donald Trump's plans to rebuild the cities affected by the fires will be complex and depend on a set of strategies that may include 1. Federal funding. Trump will likely seek significant financial support from the federal government, which will require coordination with Congress to allocate funds for reconstruction. This may include emergency programs to help victims and compensate them for their losses. 2. Strengthening infrastructure. Trump's plans could include improving infrastructure such as updating water and electricity systems, building new housing, and developing damaged areas in a way that ensures reducing future risks. Focusing on infrastructure projects can help create jobs and boost the local economy. 3. Partnering with the private sector. Trump may seek to involve the private sector in the reconstruction efforts by offering incentives for companies to participate in construction and development projects. This could include tax breaks or government contracts. 4. Taxing the rich. Trump could seek to impose additional taxes on the wealthy and large corporations to help fund relief and rebuilding efforts, reflecting his strategy of making the wealthy bear some of the blame. 5. Focus on energy. Trump could seek to boost the use of fossil fuels, which could include investments in conventional energy projects as part of the reconstruction plan, which could help provide much-needed power to affected areas. 6. Communicating with local communities. Plans could also include strengthening outreach to affected communities to ensure that relief efforts are meeting their actual needs, which would build trust between the government and citizens. 7. Addressing environmental issues. Trump could use the crisis to talk about the importance of better managing natural resources to avoid future disasters, which could include improving forestry and water management policies. Overall, Trump's plan to rebuild damaged cities will require effective coordination between the federal government, states and localities, as well as strong partnerships with the private sector and civil society to ensure effective and sustainable outcomes. Answer to the fourth question. How will the US economy be affected in the long term by these fires? The recent wildfires in Los Angeles will have a profound impact on the US economy in the long term through several main aspects. First, the direct economic losses resulting from the fires are estimated at between $135 and $150 billion, making them one of the costliest natural disasters in US history. This amount of loss will affect the GDP, representing about 4% of California's GDP. Second, the fires have caused significant damage to infrastructure, including schools, public facilities and homes. Repairing this damage will require huge investments from the federal government and states, which could divert resources from other projects and increase public debt. Third, many businesses, especially in the tourism, hospitality and retail sectors, have been affected, resulting in temporary closures and job losses. This decline in economic activity will reduce consumer spending and negatively impact economic growth. Fourth, the destruction of agricultural land will lead to a decline in agricultural production and a rise in food prices, which may cause new waves of inflation in the US economy. This increase in prices may affect the purchasing power of consumers and increase inflationary pressures. Fifth, stock markets may witness fluctuations due to concerns about potential losses for insurance companies and the impact of natural disasters on the broader economy. Investors will evaluate the risks associated with investing in affected areas. Sixth, The Federal Reserve is likely to raise interest rates to address potential inflation resulting from these disasters, which may affect investment rates and economic growth in general. Lastly, recurring wildfires may deter investment in high-risk areas, negatively affecting property values and making it more difficult to attract the investments needed for sustainable economic growth. In general, wildfires will leave long-term effects on the US economy, ranging from financial pressures and increased reconstruction costs to negative effects on growth and investment. Answer to the fifth question. What is the expected economic cost of rebuilding damaged homes and businesses? The expected economic cost of rebuilding homes and businesses damaged by wildfires in the United States can be significant and depends on several factors. 1. Loss estimates. Initial estimates of losses from the California wildfires, including damage to homes and businesses, range from $135 to $200 billion. This cost includes direct and indirect damage, such as lost income and increased cost of living. 2. Reconstruction costs. Studies indicate that the cost of rebuilding homes could exceed $77 million to provide housing for approximately 107,000 families using traditional reconstruction protocols. As the prices of materials and labor rise due to increased demand after disasters, costs may increase further. 3. The impact of inflation and rising prices. Rising prices of raw materials and labor due to increased demand after disasters can lead to significant increases in costs. Housing shortages due to insufficient construction in previous years may also exacerbate the problem and increase prices. 4. Insurance and compensation. Studies indicate that only a small percentage of affected homeowners have adequate insurance coverage to cover their losses, meaning that many families may face significant financial difficulties in rebuilding their homes. This will increase pressure on the government to provide financial support. 5. Long-term economic impacts. Natural disasters lead to structural changes in the local economy, as they can lead to increased economic and social gaps between residents, affecting the ability of communities to recover and grow. In general, the economic cost of rebuilding homes and businesses damaged by fires can be enormous and may require huge investments from the government and the private sector to ensure that the community recovers effectively and sustainably. Answer to the sixth question. How is the US stock market affected by these fires? The US stock market will be significantly affected by the Los Angeles wildfires through several main aspects. 1. Impacts on insurance companies. Insurance companies are among the most affected, with estimates indicating that fire losses could reach $20 billion. This could lead to a decline in the stock prices of insurance companies such as Travelers and Mercury General, which have already seen significant declines in their market value. Investors will be assessing potential claims and losses, which could increase market volatility. 2. Business disruptions. Many companies, especially in the tourism, hospitality and retail sectors, have been forced to temporarily close, leading to job losses and reduced consumer spending. This decline in local economic activity could negatively impact the performance of stocks in these sectors. 3. Impacts on agriculture. The destruction of agricultural land as a result of the fires could lead to higher food prices, which would increase inflationary pressures. This situation could affect the stability of the US economy and increase the challenges facing the US Federal Reserve in managing monetary policy. 4. Long-term economic consequences. Recurring wildfires could deter investment and reduce property values in high-risk areas. High reconstruction costs could also lead to an increase in public debt, which would put pressure on the federal budget and affect government spending. 5. Effects on the US dollar. In times of crisis, investors typically seek safe haven assets. The US dollar may see an increase in demand, temporarily boosting its value, but inflationary pressures resulting from reconstruction could lead to additional volatility in financial markets. Overall, wildfires will have a profound impact on the US stock market, with cascading effects on the national economy as a whole. Answer to the seventh question. What caused the fires in the first place? Was it human error, sabotage, or divine punishment for what is happening in Gaza? The results indicate that the forest fires in Los Angeles were the result of several factors, and there is no evidence that they were divine punishment or deliberate sabotage. The main causes include 1. Climatic conditions. The fires were affected by a period of heavy rainfall in 2024, which led to dense growth of plants, which increased the amount of fuel available for ignition. This was followed by a period of rapid drought, which made these plants more susceptible to ignition. 2. Santa Ana winds. The Santa Ana winds, which reached speeds of 75 miles per hour, are a major factor that contributed to the rapid spread of fires. These hot, dry winds contribute to drying out plants and help push fires quickly into new areas. 3. Flying embers. Winds not only fan the flames, but also carry embers from burned areas to new areas, sparking new fires over long distances. 4. Human activity. A number of people have been arrested in connection with setting the fires, suggesting that some of the fires may have been caused by human error or sabotage. However, no single primary cause has been identified yet. 5. Climate change. Although it is too early to determine the exact extent to which climate change has affected these fires, it has been linked to a global increase in wildfires and an increase in the number of days when fire risk is high. Based on these factors, it can be argued that the fires were the result of a complex interaction between natural climate conditions and human activity, rather than divine punishment or deliberate sabotage. In the end, whether the fire was caused by natural or human circumstances or anything else, and when we humans are unable to solve such disasters, there is a radical and powerful solution, and we humans always neglect this solution, which is prayer and asking for help from the hand of the Almighty God. As usual, I thank you for listening, and I hope that you liked the episode. I await your questions, and do not forget to put the letter Q before the question. Also, do not forget to support the channel by subscribing and activating the notification bell and liking so that the video spreads. May you remain safe in the care of the Almighty.